Hi, I'm Andrew McNair, and a lot of people are surprised to find out that I don't like budgets. I don't recommend budgets, and I don't think people should budget. Now, why is that? Simply put, the problem with budgets is that they don't work. There's always that surprise expense that pops up or unexpected bill. Emergencies don't fit neatly into micromanaged boxes. Now, you might be like, whoa, Andrew, wouldn't all my financial problems be solved if I just followed a budget? Not exactly. I'm sure you've experienced that as soon as you get your budget set, something just magically comes up. An unexpected expense or a medical bill, or maybe it's the holidays or surprise guests are coming to visit. There's always seems to be this next surprise that derails your budget. So you have to allocate more in this category so you don't borrow from this other category. It's always a moving target. Budgets aren't the answer because life circumstances are always changing and our finances have to change with it. I want to share with you a better way. Plus, the word budget just seems restrictive. It's kind of like the word diet. No one goes out looking ideally for another budget, just like no one wants to get on a diet. It's not fun to talk about. It's just like the coworker of yours who's habitually on a diet. They're always this new quick fix she's using or he's using to lose weight, but you know the result before he or she even tells you about it. It's a new fad diet that won't last. It never works. Why? This leads us to another reason diets and budgets never work, because they operate off of really weak thing called willpower. Few people can sustain the micromanaging nature of budgeting, and they're no fun to be around anyway. Over time, even the toughest, most disciplined people will break because the monotony of following something that isn't natural will drive us to self-sabotage. We like variety as humans. It's like counting calories. Why doesn't it work? Because it's not sustainable. Budgeting is just not a long-term solution for financial success because it's not doable over the long haul. To truly lose weight, what you need are lifestyle changes, new healthy habits, new behavior patterns, and I would say a new identity. It's the same with your finances. So here's my advice. Stop with the madness. Stop with the budget. There are two things that you can do to get on track with your spending. Number one is to create a spending plan. You might say, well, what's the difference between a spending plan and a budget? Well, first off, no one likes the word budget, but everyone likes the word spend. Even the term spending plan is so much more positive. So what is a spending plan? Well, think of a budget as looking towards the future, whereas a spending plan looks at the past. It allows you to write down where your money has been going and is currently going on a monthly basis. You're basically driving through looking at the rearview mirror, which is easy because you've already went there. Proverbs 27:23 says, "Know well the condition of your flocks and give attention to your herds." See, in an agricultural society, each animal was money. Each animal was serious. You can't just lose your lamb. It was prudent to take an assessment of what you own to see what adjustments you needed to make. The same goes for today. You'd be surprised how many people just coast through life financially without ever knowing where their money is going. They're like the farmer who ignores his flocks and his herds, and they don't stop or take inventory of their spending or create a financial plan until it's too late. A spending plan is a good place to start because at least you can look through and identify what needs to go and what categories you need to add more to, like savings, for example. This works because there's nothing like putting the numbers right in front of you, in black and white, in your face, because they don't lie. I encourage my clients to write down the last 3 months worth of expenses and go from there and categorize them, eliminate the unnecessary, and make adjustments. The number of unnecessary monthly subscriptions and Amazon purchases alone usually pop out as a surprise. So fair warning, We'll include a link to a spending plan below so that you can get started. What I've seen work over and over again is taking your income and splicing it into 3 separate categories: 10, 20, 70. 10% to tithing, the first fruits to the Lord. 20% to investing into long-term investments that you will not touch until retirement age. And then the 70% is to go towards spending. It's like that story of the professor that teaches about priorities, where he takes a glass jar and he sticks large rocks in the jar. And as you know this story, then he says, "Is it full?" And they say, "Yeah, it's full." And he says, "No, it's not." And he pours sand in there and he shakes it. And they say, "Well, is it still full?" And they say, "Well, maybe it's still full." He says, "Exactly, it's not full." He takes water and he pours it into the sand and he says, "Now it's full." And that's what it's like with your finances. You need to put first things first. You need to put your tithing at the top. Those who give to God usually don't cheat themselves, so they usually do save that 20% or 10%. So start off by giving 10%. Put the first big rocks, the foundation of your spending, on giving. So put those into the mason jar. The second, you need to put your investing. Put the sand in there. Let the savings fill in the cracks. And then the water will be your spending. And then let that permeate and spend. Spend that 70% and get as much out of your spending as you can. If you do that, you won't need a budget. And that's why, in my opinion, budgets don't work. And they don't have to work as long as you have your priorities in the right order. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I want to thank you for watching every video. Click subscribe if you want to catch all of our most recent videos, and be sure to check out my podcast, Rich, Young, and Powerful, on iTunes and other podcast platforms, because Rich, Young, Powerful really highlights and spotlights great organizations and charities and the philanthropists who started them, so you don't want to miss out on their story. Be sure to check out my story through my book, The Giving Crisis, where you can hear my story from going from greedy to generous. All you have to do is pick up a copy of The Giving Crisis by going to richyoungpowerful.com/book. That's richyoungpowerful.com/book. Until next time, remember to invest your life into something that will outlive it. Now that's living the gift.